Morning, everybody out there in Wildcat Nation. Thanks for joining me and Keaton this morning. We appreciate you getting up, rise, and shine early with us. Keaton's eating a cinnamon roll, which he's going to run off today. Aren't you?
What?
All those calories?
Yep, I'm going to go run later.
Because you run like a crazy man.
Yeah, I just signed up for a race. We'll talk about it later.
Well, thanks for watching the show today. We're here in the Resource Center studio. We love the Resource Center. They've got resources.
The Resource Center Enterprise Studio.
Yeah, they in beautiful Jamestown, Rogersville, Missouri. Jamestown Plaza, Rogersville, Missouri. Broadcasting live right here from the
United States, Rogersville, Missouri, United States.
Longitude, I don't know. Interesting thing enough, I noticed as I was traveling one time that Springfield, Missouri and Beijing, China are almost on the same latitude.
Huh.
Yes, latitude. So
that's kind of fun. What, have you been there? Beijing?
Springfield? Yeah, I've been to Springfield. Okay. Oh, Beijing? Yeah, I've been to Beijing about 6 times. Been over there.
Rolling my eyes at him.
It's a fun town.
I'm ready to go to China. I'm like Russia and Japan and stuff.
China's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good time over there. But my favorite sign.
Sportsland pickup covers. I love my Sportsland pickup covers.
I do love my Sportsland pickup cover.
What are the things called?
The swing cases.
Swing cases. You can put Twinkies in them. You can put bullets in them. You can put arrows in them. You can put hot pouches in them. You can put candy in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bunch of stuff. They're great.
You could put fruit punch in them too, I think.
Just ladle it out.
Ladle it right out of there. So my Sportsland pickup cover, it folds up. It's really cool. You pull these little strings and unlatch. It's not I don't think it's really a tonneau cover. Because that's sort of more of a cloth type thing. But this folds up. Well, one of those little gadgets where you pull the thing down that unlatches it, the screws popped out. And it was just hanging there. And I was like, oh, no, my Sportsland pickup cover. So I went to Sportsland pickup covers, and I said, hey, the little thing fell down. And they're like, oh, just pull around back. And they put some bigger screws in so that wouldn't happen again, fixed it for me in about 30 minutes. I said, what do I owe you? They said, not a thing. Not a thing. So, if you do have a problem with it, they're fantastic. They fixed it on the spot. Just pull around back.
Pull around back.
We'll take care of it for you. And they did. They did a great job taking care of my Sportsland pickup cover when it was a problem there. Have you bought your spring plants yet?
No.
Well, you might want to visit the Unique Flower Farmer in the parking lot of the Apple Center. She's been open now about 2 weeks.
You know what, though? I do have 2 plants that I added up their lifetime the other day. One of them I've had for 2 years. I have kept that sucker alive for 2 years.
That's pretty good stuff.
The other one like a year and a quarter.
Well, you'll want to visit with Emma at the Unique Flower Farmer. She's got lots of native plants that grow good in Missouri, non-invasive. So, sometimes you go somewhere, you're like, well, that's a pretty plant, but it turns out it's like going to eat all your other plants. Everything. It's killing everything else. Or it's not going to. It's going to look good in the pot while it's sitting there at the chain store, but it's not going to do well in the Missouri climate with the rocky soil. But you can go to Emma. She's got plants that are designed by God for this area. Hey, I'm not lying, am I? No, I'm telling the truth. Designed by God to be right here in the Ozarks. You can get those from Emma at the Unique Flower Farmer right here in Rogersville, Missouri. She's a Rogersville gem. We love having Emma, not only as part of Rogersville, she's a Rogersville grad, but as part of our K-ROG team here as well. She's good. She's good people.
Me too.
Let's look in the Bible today. Hey, you did graduate, didn't you? Hey, this is a great verse. This is good. They're all good. I hate to say this is a good verse because they're all good.
This is a really great verse.
This is one of the top 10.
But don't forget the other one over there.
God had it turned on when he wrote this one right here. This is Isaiah 53:5. It says, "But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed." So I want to walk through that again. He was pierced for our transgressions. What does that sound like to you?
That one Roman dude went.
Okay, yeah. So we got a spear in the side. Crushed for our iniquities. The chastisement upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and by his wounds, we are healed. Who do you think this author, Isaiah, is referring to? Jesus Christ. Now, and everybody goes, oh, yeah, that's Jesus. I get that. That totally makes sense. It says Jesus. It fits, all the things.
You're telling me I'm wrong.
No, I'm not telling you you're wrong. But did you notice the tense that was written in? He was pierced. We were healed. Are healed.
No, that's before.
Yeah, it's past tense. Well, Jesus hadn't. There was no when Isaiah wrote that.
Jesus wasn't alive.
There was no one alive that people would read that if they read that and go, I don't know who he's talking about. Yep. There's nobody like that. There's no one has been pierced for transgressions. Mm-hmm. No one has been crushed for our iniquities. No one has borne the condemnation that brought us peace. No one. We're not healed by anyone else's wounds. This would make no sense to the people in Isaiah's time, even to the Jews that were looking forward to a Messiah, because their concept of a Messiah was a military conqueror, political leader that was going to free them from all of raise their politically here on the earth. So Isaiah's writing this in Old Testament times, 1,000 years or so before Jesus Christ is even born, and yet it captures the perfect picture of it. That's a prophet. That's a prophet. That is a prophecy of Jesus Christ that proves God is real. The Bible is true word of God, and that Jesus Christ is who he said he was, the Son of God, who was pierced for our transgressions, did bore our condemnation, does bring us peace when we put our faith and trust in him. Just one of the thousands of examples of the Bible's self-proof of its own text that it is the true and accurate record from the creator of the universe.
Isn't that crazy?
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, it's not. I mean, it makes perfectly logical sense. If you've ever read C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity, have you read that one? You ought to read that one. It's really good. It is just a logical. I don't want to call it a defense, but it's a logical thought process of, if I start with no assumptions whatsoever, because C.S. Lewis was an atheist, didn't believe in God, became a Christian, and actually, I believe I'm stating this correctly, I could be wrong, that book, Mere Christianity, is a collection of radio talks he was giving to England during the war. But it lays out very methodically. If I just start with no assumptions whatsoever and start with observable phenomena, because even the rocks cry out, all creation testifies to the glory of God.
The rock.
The rocks will cry out. Yeah. Dwayne Johnson. I don't know about Dwayne, but but he lays it out. But you should look at that. It's very clear. The logical, observable evidence, if you're honest about it, always will lead to a God, and then will lead to the God of the Bible, which will lead you to Jesus Christ every single time, if you're honest about it. So
there's that if.
So I've been listening to a really good podcast. I listen to podcasts a lot when I drive anymore. So I listened to Unashamed with Phil Robertson, the Duck Dynasty guy. I listened to their sister podcast, the Duck Call Room, which is mostly, so Unashamed is a lot of Bible political talk with a little bit of stories thrown in. The Duck Call Room is like the exact opposite. It's like all stories. It's got Cy Robertson on there, so it's pretty wild. Cy Robertson, Justin Martin's on there, Jay Stone, and then they've got some other rotating guests on there. But it's mostly just funny, and then they'll throw some Bible in the end. Doing stuff? They're doing a lot of stuff. Duck Dynasty is not on TV, but of course, Jace Robertson will be in Rogersville, Missouri this fall at Man Camp. And if you would like to be a sponsor of Man Camp, we're looking for sponsors. And if you want to attend Man Camp and hear Jace Robertson speak, you can do that. You go to fbclife.org, go to events, and I'm hoping there's a link there. If not, there will be soon.
There will be.
And we'll be talking more about it here on K-ROG and on our show. But I've added a new podcast to my rotation. It's not a new podcast, but I've added the Babylon Bee to podcast.
Funny website.
So, yeah, I like the Babylon Bee. They're a lot of fun. I submitted a headline for their consideration. So we'll see. It's getting a lot of likes.
What was it?
Chick-fil-A surprises everyone else to be the new darling of left-wing environmentalists because they don't serve beef. Yeah, see, it's funny. It's going. Yeah, it's going. So we'll see if they pick it. But I've been listening to the Babylon Bee, and they had a guest. I've almost finished this episode, but it's an interview show. It's with John. I believe his name is Branyan, a stand-up comedian, Christian. Hilarious, but they spend the whole time talking about why things are funny and why liberals and left-wing people don't think anyone is funny.
Like stuff isn't funny.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's because the whole ideology of the left is offense and anger. Ideology. I mean, idiotology. I understand how you can make that transition. That's not what I was saying, even though it may apply. Ideology is based on outrage and anger and taking offense. And the whole point of comedy is to, at some level, be offensive. He makes the argument that it's based on, if somebody's not getting hurt or suffering, it's not funny. Right? And that's funny because we're talking about somebody getting hurt and suffering being funny. But, it's the whole, you slip on a banana peel. We laugh at that, right? It's funny. But it's not funny if it happens to you. Mm-hmm. And but it is funny when it happens to you. It just, you don't think it's funny because you don't have the right framework. And so a lot of their conversation is basically, if you go through life realizing that it's funny, then you don't have to get offended and angry and hurt about everything. But the left has no political basis to stand on unless they're angry about something. There has to be a wrong to be righted so that they can grab the authority to do that. That's the whole basis of that political ideology is to right some wrong. And if you can't find a wrong, you don't have a political basis to stand on. And so that's why the Babylon Bee, I think, is so effective, and that's why they talk about it. And you should totally listen to this podcast because it's great. But I think it's called Rejected by Letterman, because one of the stories is how he got rejected to be on the David Letterman show. But
Babylon Bee guy.
Yeah, no, the Branyan guy. He's not part of the Babylon Bee. They had him on. They were interviewing him. But a really entertaining podcast. I really enjoyed listening to that. So they're going to be part of my standard rotation. I'm going to have to drive more because I need to listen to more podcasts. Osmo Rock. I don't know if we're a first-time listener, but we're a first-time commenter. Okay, Spirit, awake them all up. Soul that needs to repent. Yeah, they sure do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting today. Osmo Rock.
That's a cool name.
It is a pretty cool name.
I wish my name was that cool. It's okay. I like my name.
Keaton. Keaton.
My mom will get in a fist fight with somebody if they say my name incorrectly. Keaton. Keaton. She says it's Keaton.
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 Yeah,
Keaton.
Keaton.
She doesn't like Keaton.
Keaton.
She doesn't like it.
A Keaton boy.
So all my teachers,
Keaton.
She would nail in their head. I didn't know it was such a big deal.
Keaton.
I don't care how you say it. I don't prefer Keaton.
I had somebody ask me one time, upon meeting me, I guess for the first time, they said, "Is it?"
Lyle?
They said, "Is it?" No, they said, "Is it Worsham or Worsham?" And I said, "I don't know the difference."
The first one.
The first one is fine with me. So anyway, that's where we're at today. It's time now for Keaton's Take of the Week.
I have a fun thing
that's
going to happen in a couple weeks.
Insightful as usual.
I signed up for a race for my birthday.
Yeah, you did.
69 miles in Texas.
And this is your 16th birthday?
No, it's my 22nd.
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 Congratulations.
Woo-hoo! Big life moment, of course. Yeah, but I'm going to go to Texas and run 69 miles on trail in a race. I'm going to try to win. I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm going to try.
Is that like a triple marathon? Not quite.
Almost, yeah.
Oh,
a little under.
Triple would be 70 some odd miles because 26 point something is a marathon.
26.1, 26.2.
26. Which is it?
26.2.
26.2. So we'd be looking at 52.2, 78.3 would be a triple marathon. Yep. No. Yes. I don't know. 4.
So this is a little under over 100K. When you get to an ultra marathon, 50K. 50 mile, 100K, and 100 mile are kind of like the standard distances, but this one's a little wonky.
So what's your, if you were going to run just a mile, as fast as you could?
Right now or back in the day?
Well, let's hear now. I think we had this question before.
Oh, yeah, Chris.
I don't remember it. But,
well, I told him my 5K too, not my mile.
Right.
Right now, I could probably run a mile in 4:45.
Sounds pretty good. Because 4 was the record for a long time. It was like the 4-minute mile was the gold standard. So what'd you used to do?
Back in the day, I could do like 4:31 was my fastest in college. Not the fastest ever, but to an average person, I'm pretty darn quick.
Yeah, you're speedy.
But the 69, I thought that I could do an 11 and a half. And then
hours, not minutes.
Yeah, 11 and a half
okay.
hours.
Just to be clear.
But then I was like, oh, it's trail. So I'm going to have to add a little bit because trail takes a little bit longer to run on.
Do you stop?
So I will, it's a lapped course. So every 17 something miles, I'm back to the start. And so that I'm allowing myself 7 minutes to change shoes, eat, drink, whatever, refill my pack. And then every 4 miles, there's an aid station that has like food and stuff. So I'm planning to just run through them, grab something if I want it, but not actually stop there. But I'm gonna give myself 7 minutes. Hopefully, use less at the main aid station. But I'm thinking it's gonna be more around like 14 and a half now.
I'm curious about the shoes. So I know like Olympic track runners, they wear those shoes for that race.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't run in those shoes again if you wanted to because they're basically destroyed.
Yeah.
So you run 17 miles in this shoes. Are they done?
No. So
you just the shoes are tired, but you're not. So the shoes need a break.
No, a typical running shoe has about a 300 to 400 mile range. It's definitely depending on how heavy you are, how tall you are, how much you're putting on it. I will typically get a little under 300. Some people can get up to like 1,000, and arguably it's probably worn out before then, but they're still getting good use out of it. A racing shoe with a carbon plate, you're gonna be nowadays used to it'd be like a marathon and it was done.
And the carbon plate that makes it bulletproof.
No, it gives you a lot more energy return back to your foot.
I see.
A little bounce in your step. But
I should get some of those put in my cowboy boots.
You
should use a little bounce in my step.
When it first came out a couple years ago, it was a marathon. They were done. Now you can get 100 to 200 miles out of them. So I have a couple carbon plated shoes, but these trail shoes aren't carbon plated. They don't make them. But I tend to be on the less mileage side of my shoes. And so I will probably retire a shoe after this race just because I'm like, it's done.
So how much does a carbon plated shoe cost?
Probably about $180 to $250.
And so you're gonna destroy a $200 pair of shoes.
Not wearing a carbon plated shoe.
Oh, you're not. Okay, you're not gonna wear that this week. Nope. All right, thanks everybody for joining us this morning. Be sure to tune in.
Carbon plated shoe or a regular shoe.
Okay, we're gonna need some sponsorship dollars for that. No, but absolutely join us Tuesday morning for the morning waffle because huge announcements coming out. Big announcement. Big new show.
Is it that thingy?
It's that thingy. It's that thingy.
People are going to do the thingy with the people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's the show with the people doing the things.
Yeah. Like the TV.
For the people. Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, but right here in Rogersville. It's
name.
going to be cool. Be sure you're listening to the Morning Waffle, 7:45-ish Tuesday morning. Join us Monday for Bruce Porter and more dollars and cents and all of your Logan Rogersville High School sports right here on K-ROG. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We will see you next week.